When you think of American products, what comes to mind? iPhones designed in California, Harley-Davidson's roaring down Route 66, Levi's jeans, the symbol of the American dream, Coca-Cola, John Deere tractors, even Boeing jet engines. For decades, these brands carried the proud label, Made in USA. They weren't just products, they were part of America's cultural identity. But here's the twist that might shock you. Many of these iconic American products are now being made in India. Yes, factories in Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Hyderabad, and Pune are quietly producing everything from Apple devices to Harley-Davidson bikes. From Levi's jeans to Boeing aircraft parts. These aren't just for local consumption. They're being shipped across the world, including back to the U.S. itself. This isn't just about outsourcing cheap labor. It's about a massive global shift in manufacturing power. As costs rise in China and supply chains diversify, India has positioned itself as the next great workshop of the world. With a young workforce, government incentives, and growing technical expertise, India is stepping onto the global stage like never before. And the stakes couldn't be higher. For India, this is about jobs, exports, and global prestige. For the U.S., it's about trust, partnerships, and reshaping its supply chains. So in today's video, we're going to look at 10 American products you probably didn't know are now made in India. From iPhones to defense equipment, these stories will surprise you. And they might just change the way you look at that Made in India tag forever. iPhones and Apple devices. When you think of Apple, you think of California. Steve Jobs, Silicon Valley, and that minimalist designed in California label on every device. But here's the big shift. While iPhones used to be almost entirely made in China, Apple has quietly been moving its supply chain to India. Factories run by Foxconn and Pegatron in Tamil Nadu and Karnataka are now assembling millions of iPhones every year. In fact, some of the newest iPhone models you see in the U.S. and Europe might have actually been made in India. That's right. India has gone from being one of Apple's biggest consumers to one of its fastest growing producers. Exports are booming too. India shipped out billions of dollars worth of iPhones in the past year alone, making it one of Apple's top global manufacturing bases. Analysts even say India could soon rival China as the future iPhone hub. Symbolically, this is huge. For decades, India was seen as a market where people bought second-hand or older iPhone models. Now, it's the birthplace of the latest devices. It's a shift from made for India to made in India for the world. This transformation isn't just about tech, it's about confidence. Apple moving here signals to other companies. India is no longer just a market of 1.4 billion people. It's a global factory in the making. Harley-Davidson motorcycles. The Harley-Davidson is more than just a motorcycle. It's an American icon. Images of long highways, leather jackets, and chrome engines instantly come to mind. But did you know that some Harleys are now being made in India? In 2020, Harley-Davidson partnered with Hero MotoCorp, the world's largest two-wheeler manufacturer, to produce and sell bikes in India and beyond. The move shocked many Harley fans, who associated the brand strictly with American soil. But here's the logic. Harley's classic big-engine cruisers were too expensive and impractical for many Asian markets. By teaming up with Hero, they started producing smaller, more affordable models, still carrying the Harley badge, tailored for younger riders not just in India, but also in Latin America, Africa, and Southeast Asia. India's advantage is clear. Skilled labor, huge motorcycle expertise, and massive export networks. From Hero's plants, Harley-branded bikes are now rolling out to dozens of countries, allowing the American brand to survive in markets it once struggled with. The symbolism here is striking. The ultimate Made in America machine is now also made in India. It shows how globalization reshapes even the strongest cultural icons. For Harley, India isn't just a customer base. It's a partner in keeping the brand alive and global. Ford Cars and Auto Parts. Now, let's talk about Ford. The American car giant officially pulled out of the Indian consumer market in 2021, citing years of losses. On the surface, it looked like Ford and India had ended their relationship. But behind the scenes, something surprising was happening. Ford's plants in Sanand, Gujarat, and Chennai, Tamil Nadu, never completely shut down. Instead, they shifted focus. Rather than producing cars for Indian buyers, These factories began building engines and auto parts that are exported around the world, including back to the United States. Today, Ford India is a critical part of the company's global supply chain. Components made in India power Ford vehicles sold in North America, Europe, and Asia. India has quietly become a hub for auto components, supplying not just Ford but also companies like General Motors, Tesla, and BMW. The irony is powerful. While Indian roads don't see many new Fords anymore, American highways might be running on engines and parts built in India. This highlights India's growing role as the backbone of global auto manufacturing. Even if consumer sales didn't work out, Ford still recognized the unmatched efficiency and scale of Indian plants. So while Ford cars might not be made in India for locals anymore, a piece of India is still driving millions of cars worldwide. Levi's jeans. Few items of clothing scream American culture like a pair of Levi's jeans. Born during the California Gold Rush, Levi's became the uniform of workers, rebels, and later, fashion icons. But the next pair of Levi's you buy might not be stitched in San Francisco. It could be made in India. India has become one of Levi's most important manufacturing hubs. Denim factories in Gujarat and Karnataka produce millions of pairs of jeans each year, not only for India's massive youth market, but also for export to Europe and North America. Why India? Simple. Skilled textile workers, lower production costs, and a centuries-old tradition in cotton and fabric weaving. Gujarat, for example, has been a textile powerhouse for centuries. Now it's powering global fashion. For Levi's, this means combining American branding with Indian craftsmanship. And for India, it's a sign of how far the country has come in the global fashion supply chain. Once known as the land where raw cotton was exported, now India is making finished, world-class apparel worn by millions. So the next time someone says your Levi's represent American culture, you could smile and say, yes, American in spirit, Indian in stitching. Coca-Cola beverages. Now let's pop open something fizzy. Coca-Cola is one of the most recognizable American brands in the world. But did you know that much of Coke's production in Asia, and even beyond, comes from India's bottling plants? Coca-Cola has invested billions in India, setting up dozens of manufacturing and bottling plants across states like Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, West Bengal, and Andhra Pradesh. These plants don't just produce Coke bottles for Indian consumers. They also manufacture syrup concentrates and packaging materials that are shipped abroad. Think about that. The sweet syrup that makes up your favorite Coke in the Middle East, Africa, or even parts of Europe may have its roots in India. For Coca-Cola, India is more than just a market of 1.4 billion thirsty people. It's a production base with vast distribution networks and competitive costs. For India, the presence of such a giant brand brings jobs, infrastructure, and export revenue. It's also a cultural twist. Coke once struggled in India, even being banned in the 1970s for political reasons. Today, it's not just accepted, it's locally made and globally exported. So yes, the drink that symbolizes America's lifestyle is, in many cases, now an Indian-made product. From factories in India to fridges worldwide. That familiar red can is another reminder that globalization works both ways. General Electric, GE, jet engines and equipment. General Electric, or GE, is one of America's oldest and most respected industrial giants. From power turbines to medical devices to aircraft engines, GE products fuel industries and save lives. But here's the twist. A large chunk of that engineering now comes from India. GE's plants in Pune, Bengaluru, and Hyderabad manufacture critical components for jet engines used in Boeing and Airbus aircraft. Imagine boarding a plane in New York or London. The engine powering that flight might contain precision parts designed and made in India. It doesn't stop at aviation. GE Healthcare also produces high-tech imaging machines, CT scanners, and ultrasound equipment from its Indian factories. These aren't just serving local hospitals. They're exported to countries across Asia, Africa, and even back to the U.S. The backbone of this success? India's engineering talent. With world-class technical institutes like IITs and thousands of skilled workers, GE relies on Indian brains and hands to maintain its global edge. This symbolizes something powerful. India is no longer just a buyer of American innovation. It's a co-creator and producer. When America's cutting-edge technology flies, scans, or powers up, chances are India helped build it. Microsoft and Dell hardware. When we think of Microsoft and Dell, we think of software, Windows, and sleek laptops designed in Silicon Valley. But where are these devices actually assembled today? Increasingly, the answer is India. Thanks to India's government-led production-linked incentive (PLI) schemes, major tech giants are moving manufacturing here. Dell already assembles laptops, desktops, and servers in plants across Tamil Nadu. Microsoft, meanwhile, has begun shifting parts of its hardware assembly, including Surface devices and accessories, to Indian facilities. This isn't just about costs. It's about India's rapidly expanding electronics ecosystem. Local suppliers, skilled technicians, and export-friendly policies make India an attractive alternative to China. The result? The laptop or gaming headset you just ordered in New York might have been pieced together in Bengaluru or Chennai. Symbolically, this is massive. For decades, India was seen as the back office of global IT, call centers, coding, software outsourcing. Now, it's evolving into the factory floor of hardware technology. So while Microsoft may still say designed in Redmond, and Dell may stamp Texas roots, the reality is clear. The machines that power America's digital life are increasingly built in India. Hasbro toys and games. What could be more American than sitting down for a family game of Monopoly, or kids battling with Nerf blasters? These are classic Hasbro products, cherished across generations. But the surprise? Many of these toys are now made in India. Hasbro has been expanding its sourcing to India as part of its global supply chain diversification. Factories in India produce board games like Monopoly, Scrabble, Jenga, and even toy lines like Nerf and Play-Doh. What's remarkable is India's ability to meet international toy safety and quality standards. That means when a child in Chicago or Los Angeles opens a brand new Nerf gun or unwraps Play-Doh, the product may have come straight from an Indian factory. The economics make sense too. With rising costs in China, companies like Hasbro needed another hub. India's growing expertise in plastics, packaging, and printing has made it a reliable partner. It's a fun irony. American kids playing with toys proudly labeled "Made in India." It shows how global supply chains touch even the most personal spaces, from living rooms to playgrounds. In many ways, it's a soft power exchange too. India isn't just exporting tech and machinery. It's exporting childhood memories. John Deere tractors. If Harley-Davidson is the symbol of the American road, then John Deere is the symbol of the American farm. Those green and yellow tractors are a staple across rural America. But here's the twist. Many John Deere tractors are manufactured in India. John Deere operates massive plants in Pune, Maharashtra, and Duas, Madhya Pradesh, where it produces tractors not only for Indian farmers, but also for export to markets in Africa, Southeast Asia, and yes, even the United States. The tractors made in India aren't limited to small, local models either. They include advanced machinery equipped with precision farming technology, ready for the global market. In fact, India has become one of John Deere's largest global manufacturing bases. Why India? Agriculture runs deep in the country's DNA. With millions of farmers, India provides both a vast testing ground and a skilled workforce for agri-tech. By making in India, John Deere cuts costs, while tapping into a market that understands farming challenges firsthand. So the next time you see a John Deere tractor plowing American soil, it's possible that its engine or assembly traces back to an Indian factory floor. It's more than just manufacturing. It's India helping to power the backbone of global food security. Boeing and Lockheed Martin defense components. Now, let's move to something even bigger: defense. Boeing and Lockheed Martin, two of America's largest defense contractors, are increasingly making parts and components in India. India's Hyderabad and Bengaluru defense corridors are buzzing with factories that produce critical aerospace systems. Fuselage sections for Boeing's 787 Dreamliners, components for Apache helicopters, and even parts used in F-16 fighter jets. Through joint ventures with Indian companies like Tata Advanced Systems and HAL, these U.S. giants are embedding India into their global defense supply chains. This isn't just about cheaper labor. It's about scale, skill, and strategy. India's growing aerospace talent pool, combined with government push under Make in India defense, makes it the perfect partner. Symbolically, this is huge. The same India that once relied on imports for its military is now co-building the machinery of U.S. and allied defense systems. It reflects not only globalization, but also the deepening U.S. India strategic partnership. So yes, when a Boeing aircraft takes off, or a Lockheed Martin helicopter hovers, there's a good chance that part of it was made in India. From toys to tractors, iPhones to fighter jets. The message is clear. America's most iconic products now carry an Indian fingerprint. Reflection: what this means for India. India's role in the global economy has transformed dramatically in just a few decades. Once dismissed as merely an outsourcing hub for call centers and back-office work, India is now stepping into the heart of global manufacturing. The fact that iPhones, Harley-Davidsons, Levi's jeans, GE jet engines, and even Boeing aircraft parts are being made in India signals a paradigm shift. It shows that the country is no longer only exporting software and services, but also hard, tangible products that power global economies. This also positions India as a credible alternative to China, a critical advantage at a time when global companies want to diversify supply chains and reduce reliance on a single country. With its massive workforce, growing infrastructure, and government incentives, India is seizing the moment. But beyond economics, there's a layer of national pride. For decades, Made in India was seen mostly on textiles or handicrafts. Now, it's stamped on cutting-edge technologies, defense components, and luxury consumer goods. That's a leap in perception, both at home and abroad. For Indians, this is more than just jobs or GDP growth. It's about being recognized as a builder of the future, not just a consumer of it. So, let's take a step back. We've just explored 10 iconic American products, from iPhones and Levi's to Harley-Davidsons and Boeing jets, that are now being manufactured in India. Each one represents a thread in the bigger story. India's journey from a service economy to a manufacturing powerhouse. This isn't just about assembling gadgets or stitching clothes. It's about India building the reputation of being a global factory of the future, trusted to deliver quality, scale, and innovation. And the pace at which this transformation is happening is nothing short of astonishing. The big picture is clear. When you hold an iPhone, or Levi's jeans, sip a Coca-Cola, or even board a Boeing aircraft, you might unknowingly be touching something made in India. That's the depth of India's integration into the modern world. Now, here's where I turn it over to you. Which of these products surprised you the most? Was it John Deere tractors, Hasbro toys, or maybe the fact that parts of U.S. fighter jets are made in India? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what shocked you most. And if this video opened your eyes to India's growing global role, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating insights into how our world is changing. Because one thing's for sure, the label Made in India is about to become impossible to ignore.